Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of The Movie Date with Rob and Zach, a podcast for people who like movies but don't want to be smug about it. My name is Rob.
And I'm Zach.
Yes.
Why you say it like that, bro? Like what? What kind of...
I mean, we just had...
For those of you who are just tuning in, we recorded like a good 6 minutes of the podcast before I realized the volume wasn't up on
We
the
had a
mixer.
solid
They
intro.
didn't have to know that we went through.
I don't
that.
lie to my audience, Da Vinci. I tell the truth, even if it hurts.
I mean, but it doesn't have to. Like we could just start over.
You might notice, listeners
It's
at
like
home.
playing a
Make me
song.
sick.
It's like playing a song from the beginning. That's basically what it is.
But we're recording now. I feel pretty good about it, I guess. What did we see?
We saw Incredibles 2.
Yeah.
Two.
Incredibles Dos.
Incredible.
Yes.
Two.
We were going to have another guest this episode. Guests, plural. Multiple guests.
Yes.
Two guests.
Yeah, it was gonna be a whole big thing.
But they flaked out, so we got back the wonderful Da Vinci Moore.
Thank you.
Total pinch hitter.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Told your applause. Thank you.
Yes. No one was applauding, but not that
In my
matters.
mind. In
Doesn't
my
matter to
mind.
anyone else but me.
In my mind, they were applauding. That's what mattered.
We're excited. We're thankful to have you back on. We were gonna have a friend of mine on for Solo, who's a huge Star Wars fan, and we didn't get to have him on. I was kind of bummed about
We
that.
have a history of flakes.
A history of
Yeah.
flex.
Well, he was like, I'm just not gonna go see it, and then he went and saw it, and he was like, I actually really liked it, and I was like, why didn't you fucking come on the show then? So we didn't get to geek out, but I thought that was a good episode between me and you. We got into the Star Wars sweat pretty hard,
Yeah.
which is good. Zach's quite the Star Wars fan, more than I expected.
But we're not
Zach
here to
doesn't-
talk about Star
Zach
Wars.
doesn't look like he's a fan of anything.
I know, right?
He's
I'm a
wearing a Black Dahlia Murder shirt right now, and I'm pretty sure he hates the band.
Yeah, that's
Why would
exactly
you wear
right,
this
Rob.
shirt
I wear this
that the
shirt
band
ironically.
Because exactly the reason he said, ironically, he'll do it just to be like, oh, you like Black Dahlia Murder?
It's just
No,
it's just to
no,
attract
that's
a
exactly
Why
it
are
is
you wearing it? 'Cause it's awful.
it's simply I wear it to attract a certain group of people who I then shun and make them feel terrible about themselves.
Very
But
good.
then you get with other group of people who feel the same way, and you're all wearing their shitty T-shirts,
That is true. I have to watch out for those situations.
and now you become.
Zach
a group.
better hope his comedy career fails horribly. Otherwise, he might become popular and people will like him. Unironically.
Okay, well, we're not here to talk about my failing comedy career. We are here
You're
to
not
talk
here.
about
That's why I'm here.
The
That's the reason of the
Incredibles.
podcast.
The Incredibles 2. If we're done with Gang Up on Zach Hour, the
Yeah.
podcast. Okay. The synopsis for Incredibles 2, as told by IMBD, is Bob Parr.
Say that
Mr.
again.
Did
I am BD.
IMDb.
There you go.
Yeah,
Got a little dyslexic there. Okay, Bob Parr, Mr. Incredible, is left to care for the kids while Helen, Elastigirl, is out saving the world. Pretty simple synopsis there, Rob.
I wish more synopsises were like that. Synopses were like that. So that way you wouldn't get movies ruined by weird synopsises. Synopses. I did it twice just now.
Synopsis.
Isn't that
I don't know. But we get the whole original voice cast back. We get Craig T. Nelson. We get Holly Hunter. We get Sarah. We get all of them.
except the kid who plays Dash. That kid's like a man now.
really.
Yeah.
14 years ago. There's no way his voice still sounds like that.
I mean, of course, but
We even got Bob Odenkirk in there.
Oh yeah, Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
Catherine Keener's in it.
Saul.
Yep. And good old Samuel L. Jackson doing reprising his Frozone.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm tired for these goddamn superheroes and all these movies I'm in.
I'm
Tired of these motherfucking superheroes.
I don't want an Incredibles. I don't want an Incredibles 3. Actually, I want an
Frozone
Incredibles. Yeah, I want a Frozone.
A Frozone
movie.
I want both of those movies.
Exactly. I want
And,
both.
and here's the
I want
kicker.
both
Here's the
because-
kicker. Ice Cube plays the villain.
Oh, that'd be dope.
Holy shit.
That's
that
like
would
an
be
Easter
dope.
egg on an Easter egg.
Dope.
Like, get out the way, Frozone. Just being like angry all the time for no. I mean, he's the bad guy, so it already kind of
Exactly.
works. Someone said in the next, one of the greatest fan castings I ever heard was they want someone on like Twitter or whatever was like, when they're casting Green Lantern, Ice Cube needs to play Jon Stewart, and I was like, oh my god, yes,
No.
I think it's great. Can you
I don't know
imagine
about
his
that.
furrowed brow as he goes like, man, in darkest light and brightest day, like that'd be hilarious. Just curmudgeonly Ice Cube.
Kind of like how Don Cheadle played Captain Planet.
Yeah. Cast Channing Tatum as the other one and just let them be goofy together.
Oh, shit.
I'd watch that. Did y'all ever see that movie Fist Fight that he was in with Charlie Day?
I did
No.
not.
It's not bad.
Really?
It's pretty funny.
Really?
And the fight's pretty good.
Okay.
So I thought it was pretty good. Yeah.
So they actually fight it then.
Yes, because I was sure they were going to cop out.
That's what I was saying. I thought
Because Charlie Day's like, well, I'm the besmudged white guy who talks too fast. And
I gotta get out of here.
And Ice Cube is like a literal sociopath who tries to kill students. or
kill your
something.
ass,
Like,
motherfucker.
and like when the actual fight happens, I was like, oh, he's just gonna beat him up in 2 seconds, and they're gonna take the easy way out. But no, the
But
direct-
that's not what we're talking about.
no. But I was
the
just wanted to-
movie.
yeah, we're getting off topic. We're about to get off topic.
Off topic.
Zach's entire life is off topic.
No, but I'm pretty on this. I'm about The Incredibles
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
Like I really,
This
we
is-
need to get to the one thing that I've been wanting to get to.
Save spoilers for later. What's the spoiler? I don't know if you're talking about.
I don't know if this is a spoiler.
I don't know because we didn't see this movie
We
together.
need to talk
all
about
saw it
Mrs.
separately.
Incredible.
Yeah.
We need to talk about whether or not she keeps her butt inflated.
All right.
Or if that's just the way it looks.
So,
I have zero interest in referring to the juvenile topic that you just discussed.
all right. Mrs. Incredible's ass.
And we're doing it anyway.
Mrs. Incredible is thicker than cold peanut butter, man. Like she, like you know how thick.
You're not
cold
supposed to
peanut-
refrigerate peanut butter, Da Vinci. I feel like you know that.
Do you know how thick it is? Like when you, like when you get a spoon and you're like, God
It's
damn,
like you could use it for doing grout work
I
in your
can't get
bathroom.
this shit out. Like it's thick. Like
Stupid,
thicker
like,
than,
you need a
rubber cement. Like
You need a
thick.
knife.
But like I'm just saying, like
Not just a butter knife.
I get it. It's thick.
I just
We've
don't get.
established the thickness.
I'm just saying I don't get why Disney, likes to sexualize cartoons a little bit too much. I don't know.
I mean, like Mrs. Incredible could have been a strong woman without the
Out the ass.
without the extraneous birthing hips. You know,
You're the same person
could've
that
been
said
a-
that Marvel movies need more sex scenes, and I
She-
agreed with you, sir.
Oh yeah.
I could do with a little more humanity in my cartoon character.
yeah. I mean,
Not
like who
everyone is
doesn't?
Coke bottle shaped
yeah.
or fat.
But this is PG though.
Yeah.
Like, this is
I guess.
this is still a kid's movie. It's just like
Which is weird because I feel like this movie and the first movie are a little darker than most
yeah.
kids' just a little bit.
It's supposed to be a family
Incredibles
film.
is kind of dark for
You're supposed to go
And the
see
first
this
one,
with
it's
mom
about,
and
like,
dad.
there's parts where like the cops are like not the cops, the Syndrome's militia trying to like murder the kids and stuff,
Yeah,
and it's like
he was murdering.
Yeah, you
everybody.
see like the corpse of Gazer Beam.
I mean, but
yeah,
that's,
I
I
didn't even
mean,
think about that.
I mean, but even with all the Disney movies, murder was involved in some of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
'Cause,
lots of dogs and
because some of the
deer
best
get
Disney
shot in Disney movies.
Murder was involved, Lion King.
Lots of
Tarzan,
woodland animals getting
A
shot.
lot of motherfuckers dying. I think it's easier to explain the concept of death to a kid than it is the concept of sex.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, if you see Miss Incredible walking around with, like I said, those extraneous birthing hips,
They don't understand what that feeling is like that.
They
Like,
don't.
Like everyone in these movies,
They
is
don't know the
flawed in a
feeling of the
weirdly
thickness.
disproportional way.
Exactly.
Anyway, everyone's head is too big. Bob's chin is way too big. Edna Mode's head is too big, but her body is too small.
They're all-
Everyone's drawn in a weird way.
Yeah, they're all
anyway. So,
caricatures.
yeah, it doesn't really matter to me.
so to speak.
I don't have a problem with the cartoon.
So are you
movie.
saying that her that she's so thick, the reason she's so thick is actually like a metaphor for her being a strong woman and birthing those superpowered kids?
No one said that.
I don't think anybody said that.
I'm saying it.
Then why
That's
didn't you
my
just
Incredibles
say,
theory.
I'm saying that.
Yeah, why do you have to deflect your ideas off on other people?
Why did you
Zach?
have
Why
to
don't you take
project
credit for
that
them
shit
by
on
yourself?
us?
Have courage.
Because I
Zach.
felt like I was adding
Have the
to a
courage
thesis
to
that was
own up
already.
to what you
You're
want
trying
to
to
say.
you're trying to put a barrier in between the idea and you, so if it fails, it's not your fault.
Exactly. He's afraid of bombing.
Exactly.
Maybe.
It's that fucking simple.
Well,
So we
fine.
saw this movie separately.
Yes, we saw these movies separately.
What did we think, gentlemen? We're starting with you, Zach.
Of it or going in? Because we like to pose the question, what do you think before going in?
That's true, and I forgot about that. And I'm going to accept my failure and roll it back a little bit. Zach, what did you expect going in?
That's what I thought.
What did you say?
What I expected.
This snarky bullshit.
What I expected going in was I expected it to be your standard Pixar fare. I expected it to tie up some loose ends, and I expected it to be a thrill ride.
But standard Pixar fare is usually a 5-star movie. Because those guys churn them out pretty good.
Yeah, Pixar, they churn them out really, really
Even the ones that are mediocre, I still kind of like Brave.
Even the little short films
That's
that they
what I'm
play
saying, like,
before.
Those short films, I look every time I see a Pixar film. I'm derailing it. I'm stealing it from you for a second. I get so excited because every time I see a Pixar film, there's a little short film in front of it, and every time I look forward to it. And I was like, I wonder what this one is.
Yeah, we were looking forward to
the
it
short
too.
film for this one was interesting though.
Yes.
Like the short film for
A little more mature.
It's all about
it was,
family.
It was a little
heartbreak.
bit more mature. What was it called? Like it was
Little Dumpling.
Little dumpling.
That's what we're calling it.
That's what I'm calling it.
Because I can't remember
because
what
I
it's
think it was
called.
like Poe or something. It was I forgot.
For those of you
But
who
what's
haven't-
cool, it was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, from what I read of the credits of it, it was done independently. And Pixar just kind of picked it up and put it in their Incredibles movie.
Interesting. I wouldn't have thought that. It's about a middle-aged Asian lady and her husband, and they have a very steady life. She makes food. They eat together. They go to sleep. He goes to work, and then they come home and they do it all over again. And one day she creates a dumpling, and it comes alive.
And that's all we're going to say about it.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. But I will say, I did cry.
I know, right?
I cry in all these movies.
It was
I'm a big baby. When
I
it comes
didn't
to
cry
Pixar.
because I'm like super badass.
No, you're
and
not.
it was sad.
All of those words were not true. Super bad and ass.
It was sad though.
It is
was
sad.
sad.
They're always sad. The one before Inside Out, I'm gonna spoil this one because if you haven't seen Inside Out by now, you're missing out.
Yeah.
But it's volcano, isn't it? There's a volcano.
The volcano.
That
Yeah,
dreams
I
of
know.
finding someone who loves him.
Yeah.
And then eventually he slowly sinks beneath the waves and he never finds someone. But then an earthquake happens and him and another volcano emerge and spend their life together.
Yeah.
By the end of it, I was like, oh god.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like that shit was sad. Like that shit had me. Like that's the thing about it made you think about certain Disney movies. Like Disney movies just really made you cry.
Yeah.
Like really could invoke that emotion out of you. Where you're
Never.
just like, ugh.
Yeah. So
Like-
Zach, is that what you were expecting, or were you expecting like it'll be okay?
Of what, the short film?
No, of the movie in general. Because Pixar does tend to...
I expected it to be pretty good.
Yeah.
That's what I expected it to be. I expected it to be worth the wait of 14 years.
I agree.
Okay.
And
Betsy, what were your expectations? You kind of given us them a little bit, but do it again.
Yeah, like my expectations, were pretty high considering I loved the first fucking movie.
The first one's great.
The first one's fucking great.
It's one of the
And
best superhero movies out there for what it is.
exactly
The way it's presented.
Exactly the way it's presented. It's an awesome movie. And when I went to go see that in theaters when I was little as a kid, and I was like, this movie is the shit. So I'm grown up now. I'm like, why didn't they make another fucking movie?
We got 3 Cars movies, but it took them this long.
Exactly. It took them this long to make Incredibles 2.
Is it like the equivalent of say dudes who watched I don't know, the original Star Wars trilogy or something, and then waited for the prequels to kind of waited for Phantom Menace?
When you're waiting for a sequel, a long
Like
deserved
that
sequel.
I don't
long?
know if it's that hyped. Like when the Phantom Menace came out,
I don't
people
think it's
saw
the-
it like 10 times and were like,
I don't think it's the same.
amazing.
I don't think it's the same level of hype. You know what I'm
But
saying?
people were really
But I think
excited for
it's
this.
the-
Well,
People who
okay,
were
well-
kids when they saw the first one are grown ass men, as in the people in this room.
What's
Yeah.
another?
Grown-ass
What's
men
another?
in
What's
songs.
another really late in the game sequel that had this much level of hype? I can't think of one.
That's a good question.
That is-
I mean, I would say the Star Wars movies are the only ones that
Star
stand
Wars.
above it.
I think even Indiana Jones had a
Yeah,
level of hype.
the
Yeah.
Even
Crystal
though it
Skull
was,
had a lot of hype.
It was a flop, but even then, it still had that level of hype. You
I
know,
think we can all agree Highlander 2 was the most awaited sequel of all time.
I mean, the second Blade Runner, I was pretty hyped for.
oh yeah, oh yeah. There was
that
a lot of
didn't
hype.
do very well though.
No,
It did.
and I
Not-
still
not
haven't
at the
seen
box
it.
office.
Oh,
You need to see it. It's quite revolutionary, I think. Anyway, my expectations. I wanted it to be great. I like Brad Bird. I like all of his movies. He's done Incredibles. He did Ratatouille. He did Mission Impossible 5? 4 or 5. One of those ones.
what, like Ghost Protocol or something?
Yes, I think he did that one.
There was one of them that was decent.
And then
The
he
one
did-
where they're in like Dubai or some shit.
Yeah,
and
I think that's the one
with
he
the
did.
car garage.
Yes.
Yeah, that one's a good one.
Yeah. They're all good, except for 2. 2's bad.
2 is really bad, and
What,
you would.
Mission Impossible 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one with the slow motion and
And the one that John Woo did.
Yeah. It's just, it has all of his
He did
stylistic-
Face Off, and then he goes and does Mission Impossible 2, and it sucks. A big chode.
My favorite one is the third one. The one
Yeah,
with
mine
Philip
too.
Seymour Hoffman.
Oh
So
yeah,
good.
but Philip Seymour Hoffman was a great.
Yeah, but also it was J.J. Abrams' first movie,
Really,
like that he ever made. And I was like,
It's impressive.
it is impressive. It's so good.
That's a good movie.
it's very impressive.
But Brad Bird. So he did Mission Impossible, Ratatouille, Incredibles, Tomorrowland, which I saw. It was all right. And then he did this. So he's got a pretty cool track record, mostly doing animated films.
Yeah.
I've always said he should be the next guy that does a Superman film. 'Cause I think he's got the right balance of everything to do something like that. But
You think he's got the whimsy?
I do. I think he does, actually. I think these movies kind of prove it, that he can tangle in superhero worlds.
Yeah.
But that movies like, the new Mission Impossible movies.
Mission Impossible.
And that Tomorrowland showed that he can sort of
Grinch.
handle like some
Sounds like Sean
darker
Connery.
themes or whatever to push them in there as well. I would like to see that. My expectation is I wanted this movie to blow my socks off because I really love the first one.
Yeah,
Probably one of my favorite Pixar movies, and that's saying something because I like most of them.
Yeah,
And the verdict-
I would agree is probably one of my favorite.
The verdict
Pixar
is-
Did it blow you guys' socks off? Was it just the bee's knees? Was it the culmination of 14 years worth of waiting on these stupid Cars
Was it
movies
worth
to
the
end?
wait? Was it worth waiting 14 years for?
Sure, I'll say that.
It was definitely worth waiting.
Would you buy the
14.
Blu-ray?
Yes, I would
Yeah.
buy the Blu-ray, but that's not a good measure because I buy a lot of Blu-rays to movies that sometimes I don't even like.
Yeah.
So that I'm not always the target audience.
I would definitely say it was.
I'm gonna go see it again later this week with a friend of mine.
Oh yeah, it's definitely
So,
worth watching again.
yeah.
It's definitely worth watching.
I liked it a lot. Zach, what did you think? I would put it on par with the first one, maybe a little underneath it,
yeah.
but I think it's like it's definitely up there.
I think it is a good animated film, and I think it's maybe it's poignant for the times because it deals with some themes and stuff, and even its use of Mrs. Incredible as like the main character protagonist in the film.
Yes.
I think it was an Incredibles movie that we needed.
Political statement.
It might not even be something that a lot of viewers wanted to see in a second Incredibles movie, but
Yeah, I was sure they were
but
going
I
to do
think
a time
it-
jump. They were gonna be like 10 years
That's what I'm
later.
saying. I was thinking it was either going to be a time jump or they were going to start right after what happened
Yeah.
in the
so it kind of exists in its own little weird like limbo of history.
Yeah,
I feel
it's supposed to be like Brad Bird has said. It's in the 50s/60s, but they don't ever expressly say.
Yeah,
that.
because like I never
he
really
just wants
knew,
that kind of nostalgic tone to
That's what I'm
everything.
saying. I never really understood what period of time they were in. Like it's kind
They've
of
got the old tube TVs and stuff and all that.
it
Stuff
is
going on,
interesting,
too.
and it does like the style to it is kind of like 1950s, 1960s
Yeah,
type style.
I feel like it works though. It's like when you look like it.
Then they have jazz in it, which is kind of like
Yeah,
know
that
bringing
score, that noir
it- yeah,
kind
the
of
jazz
score
noir.
feel.
It's a noir type movie. It's very noir style type movie.
I feel like when I watch The Incredibles, especially the first one,
Yeah.
a little less in this one. In fact, that's one of the disappointments I had, and if what few of them there are for this one, is the nostalgic tone works for the second one because it's not based on anything else.
Yeah.
There weren't like 20 or 40 years of Incredibles comics that we're comparing this to. It's an
Exactly.
original
It's-
creation.
Yeah, it's an IP.
Yeah, no one gets mad at Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man because there was no previous Iron Man to say, "Oh, Tim Burton did it better" or something.
Yeah.
So
there's nothing to compare it to.
So because it's its own thing, the nostalgia it's sort of ruthless and it can do whatever it wants.
Yeah.
And like there's like you know what it reminds me of? You guys are comic booky guys. Do you guys ever read any comics by Alex Ross?
Alex Ross.
He knows those really lifelike paintings. He's one of the only comic artists that paints his stuff.
Really?
And if you've probably seen, like, if you type in, like, he did a story called Marvels, where it was all the classic heroes of the Marvel universe done in a very nostalgic, like Norman Rockwell style. It takes him forever to paint them, but they look incredible. Like, it's those big shining group photos of like Captain America, he's standing with his chin up, or like if you see he did Kingdom Come, which is a Justice League story, and it's that big overhead light of like the Justice League standing on that black
guy.
screen. It reminds me of that.
Yeah.
Like in the way that it's presented, and that's one of the things I like about it so much. I think that like in the first one, it's really cool because you have this awesome age of superheroes, but it gets derailed. Like, and it's supposed to be
It's like PG Watchmen or something.
Yes.
It is like a PG Watchmen.
But it's derailed by the.
It's not as realistic as Watchmen, though. It's like.
Yeah, it couldn't be.
Nah.
But it comes close.
Yeah.
In a couple ways.
It comes close. It kind of hits the.
It has the ironic superhero tropes that those kind of comic books set up. But it's not ruined, but like this golden age of superheroes where like they stand tall and they have big statues, and like one of my favorite things in that first one was that you get to go through the special features and I would read about all the other superheroes.
You get to see the history.
Yeah, and like in the first one when you see the ones that Syndrome tracked down, and he kept having to go up the hierarchy till he found like some of there was like the C-list heroes and the B-list heroes. Like Gazerbeam was a B-list guy, and then Dynaguy and Strategale and all these interesting superhero names that I remembered. And I would go into the special features and read their powers and their biographies. Like, that's how much I loved that movie, and I loved the world that it set it in. Yeah. The only thing I was bummed about is I wanted more of the world and the mythology of this world, and we don't quite get that.
So
here.
would you say they should make a prequel?
Yes,
Incredible.
I would watch like
dig the
that
shit
would
out of
be
it.
the shit.
Just
I
incredible.
want to see Gazerbeam.
Yes,
dude, exactly.
And
see Gazerbeam
and Pyronic or whatever his name was, and I like reading about all the superheroes that were like Mr. Incredible was one of like the.
You get to see Mrs. Incredible with that mohawk she was talking about.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Spoiler. But I wanted to. I think that would be a great idea to like see because Mr. Incredible was like one of the A-list guys. I want to see their
the other A-list.
Their Justice League of characters, or their Avengers guys. I want to see who their team
and see how it started to fall.
Yes.
Absolutely. You can even do that without the original voice actors as well.
Yes, or you don't even have to have them in there. Just do like other heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You don't have to have them in there, or you don't have to have them lead the movie. Like
you maybe Disney may be canceling its Star Wars spin-offs for now.
So dumb.
But they should greenlight some incredible spin-offs.
Yes.
Incredible spin-offs would be beneficial.
I like how Disney can release 3 Star Wars movies or 2 Star Wars movies in a spin-off that each make over $1 billion.
Exactly.
And as soon as Solo kind of underperforms, like, nope, it's all done. Wrap it up. Pack it up.
Wrap it up.
Sell Lucasfilm. Sell it now.
But it's like they never give it another chance. It's like they just like, nah, we ain't.
Solo was a perfectly good.
They're gambling all their money on.
Now I'm not going to get my Obi-Wan movie. I wanted it.
An Obi-Wan movie would have been dope.
Yes.
Nah. You don't want to have like an hour and a half of Obi-Wan wandering through the desert.
Yes, I do.
It's dumb.
Chopping people's arms off and fighting gangsters.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, I do.
He was fighting motherfuckers. But
you can literally do anything. That's why it's genius.
So, okay, we talked about our expectations, what we thought about it. You want to get into some deep cuts here?
Yes. The things. Let's get into we're gonna go good or bad first. Let's go with the bad first, and then we'll go to the good.
And what that means is our good or bad section is spoiler filled. So
Oh, well, we didn't even talk about what we liked in a spoiler-free-ish way. We should do a little bit of that. Because people
what
wanna
we
know.
liked in a spoiler-free-ish way.
Yes.
okay, 3 things you liked, Rob.
3 things I liked. For a movie that's 14 years later, the family dynamic doesn't feel any weaker. It feels nice and tight, and everything feels like the way it's supposed to. I was kind of worried. They were like, I don't know if they have this. I'm pretty sure they have the same actress for Violet.
Yeah.
And I know it's the same for the other 2. But like for the kid, and I was like, it's been so long. Are they going to be able to like make like half of the fun of the first one is they're a family, so you get to see like the mundaneness of 50s era family bullshit.
Yeah.
But with superpowers in it, and I was like, it still feels pretty good. I like that. I like a lot of the jokes. My favorite Dash joke, it defines who I am. When he's talking about that, not having his super suit or whatever. The spoiler, I know, but it's a good joke.
Yeah.
Okay,
But like-
second.
And I like the action's still good.
You like
Yeah.
the action?
Yeah, the
I
action.
think
Okay.
it's as good or better. It's not better, but it's as good as the first one. Even that opening sequence, this isn't a spoiler because it's like, it picks up right where the end left off, where they fight the Underminer.
Yeah.
That's really good. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's 3 things I like. 3
All
things
right.
you liked, Zachary.
No, I'll go to the Vinci. What are
Fine.
3 things you liked, Vinci?
3 things I liked. I would say I would like the score. I love the music that goes on in The Incredibles and how
I second that.
and how it ties in with the action and fits the tempo of the movie. I like how I definitely like the action. I definitely like the action, but the action wasn't as on par with the first movie. I think. I don't think the action was on par with the first movie.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of Mr. Incredible.
That
doing
being
it.
said, it was still engaging. It was still an engaging movie. I just don't think the action was the main wasn't the main force in this movie.
I have a theory as to why it's not as engaging, but we can get to that later.
Yeah.
And what's your last thing?
Last thing would be fucking Frozone. Like Frozone is the shit, motherfucker.
Yeah, he kind of saves the day several times.
He's
the master of if they just had Frozone in the movie Speed.
He's finally getting his credit as a dope ass superhero. Like, you didn't get enough Frozone in the first movie.
Yeah.
You get a lot more Frozone in this movie.
Yeah.
So
It's weird that he's as effective as he is because his power
exactly.
is to create ice.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Like,
Iceman.
He uses
He's
the
just
ice
like
to
an ice
stop
man.
like buildings from falling. And I'm
Ice-
like, that's some strong ice, man.
Well, dude,
Yeah.
like Iceman from the
basically
X-Men,
like a black
he's
Iceman,
like a Omega level mutant.
No, he's a bitch made
No,
of ice.
or he's at least an Alpha level mutant. Like Iceman's the shit.
He gets beat
Iceman
up.
is an
He-
alpha
That's
level
why he's
win?
top tier in Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
He gets beat up like a chump in all the movies.
So if we're comparing Frozone to Iceman's power
We're
set,
not, only you are, but keep going.
I believe that Frozone is probably like top tier, like straight up.
Mr. Incredible.
Frozone is top tier.
Yeah,
Like he's
dude, if they had Frozone
Like-
in any
I'm
of
not
the
saying he's bad. I'm just saying
dude,
it's weird.
if they had
that-
Frozone in any of the Speed movies, those would be they wouldn't even be movies. Just
No, I'm
replace
saying it's- I'm
Frozone
saying
with
it's weird
Keanu
that
Reeves in
ice
any
is-
situation, and
I'm
you're
saying
good.
the physics of the Incredible Universe
Yeah.
give him a little leg up somehow.
Oh yeah, no, the physics of the Incredibles isn't necessarily entirely realistic, but it's just I'm not saying realistic, but in terms of there's a little bit more.
He's great. I think he's awesome. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah, but
Iceman's not though.
Man,
Frozone definitely gets a lot more credit in this movie. That a lot more action, a lot more screen time in this movie than the last one, and that's cool. I liked it.
fair enough. 3 things I liked.
There's that Zach energy we talk so much about.
That energy. All right. So 3 things that I liked is come on.
What's the deal with that?
That 3 things that I liked was I liked the sequences with Jack, and I thought all of those were really cute and really
Yes.
funny,
Dope.
and they were all just great. Okay,
A little bit.
Yeah,
'cause
we
you
got
weren't
a
there.
lot more Frozen and a
you
lot
get
more
You
Jack.
get a lot more Jack as well. Yes, Jack was awesome.
I like some of the heavier themes that they play with in this movie. We'll get into those a little later. I also liked The fact that it's just it switched protagonists a little bit. It was Miss Incredible, Elastigirl as like the main character.
I
pretty
mean, it
much.
made sense though.
It was like the
because-
same story as the first one, just reversed and like with some
You know
new
what I'm saying?
shit in
Because
it.
like
It
the
was
first
great.
one, Mr. Incredible had more of the screen time. Like it was more about Mr. Incredible and his journey.
Yeah, than anyone
and
else.
this one is more about Mrs. Incredible and her journey.
Yeah, when I saw that in the trailers, I was worried. Like, are they gonna like?
Exactly.
Are they gonna feminist?
Are they
this
gonna
up a
pander?
lot?
Are
They
are
did,
they- are they
but
gonna
dude, they
pander
did,
to-
but in such a clever and real way.
Yeah.
and that seems weird to say
Yeah,
about
but,
an
like,
animated
there's people we can
superhero
choose from.
movie.
There's
But
the big giant guy who destroys everything.
Yeah.
There's the guy who freezes everything, which can go either way.
Exactly.
And there's the chick who stretches. She
Exactly.
can literally take the force out of almost anything. Let's
Exactly.
go with her. I was
Exactly.
like, I like that.
I mean, but
I also
it's-
like his reaction to that. The dad, I like him that he's
his reaction to that.
He's supportive, but he's like
He's
jealous.
I
and
want
he's-
to. He even said said it in the movie. He was like, yeah, you go out and do it so I can do it better. Like he owns up to it. Like it's just it's just.
But
one of
that's
those
what's
things.
great is that they're able to discuss their egos like that, and you see it play
Still
out
have
in a
great
pretty.
movie that plays out.
But you
so,
see like their egos and stuff and all that play out in a really healthy way, kind of. It's I don't know. A lot of that was pretty poignant.
yeah,
it really was, wasn't it?
stuff we did not like. I'll say it. Like I said earlier, I would have liked more of the mythology. I want to know more about where these here. I know a lot of them were killed by syndrome. technically,
Yeah,
but
most
we
of
don't
them.
know that. We can bring back other ones that we haven't heard about, and I'd like to have seen more of that. Like there's a flashbacky sequence in this movie where we see two other heroes and stuff. We see Gazer Beam for half a second, and I was like,
Yeah.
I just love the idea of there being a mythology in this world. Just
Yeah.
like. And I want to see more of that. So that's like not a. I really can't criticize it for that. Like I don't like criticizing movies for things that they don't do. I
Yeah,
rather
yeah.
criticize them for what they do.
Yeah.
But that would have been cool to see more of that. I thought the bad guy and the reveal of that was kind of
Yeah.
little weak.
I feel you.
But I guess
Saw it coming a mile away.
I saw it.
Oh,
Coming.
yeah.
It was predictable. It was
and-
very predictable.
But I feel like it's unfair because Syndrome is one of the most ingenious ideas for a bad guy ever.
Yeah.
And he's played by Jason Lee, which also helps.
Yeah.
Who is just grown up
I
Zach.
just felt like I get what you're
Why
saying.
Zach likes him.
Rolling my eyes.
I get what you're saying because
That's a compliment.
I just felt like the bad guy could have been a lot less predictable
Yeah, like
and a
when-
lot
like it's at,
more intimidating as a villain.
Like the first time the first couple times we come into quote unquote contact with the bad guy, because he kind of has like hypnosis powers. So we interact with him through other
Spoilers,
people.
Rob.
I know. Well, that's in the trailers, so it's not really a spoiler.
Okay.
He's called the Screen Slaver. I mean, it's not subtlety.
It's almost a
It's
tongue
genre
twister.
standard. But
Say that's 5 times
but
fast.
the first times that we come into contact with the bad guy, I was like, I like this. I like where it's going. And I just felt the ultimate reveal and like the quote unquote master plan is just kind of like, really? That's it?
Exactly. Like that's it.
Yeah. It's like Syndrome's was. I just I think Syndrome is such a perfect villain that I'm like whoever they would have come up with it wouldn't have mattered.
Syndrome
it
wasn't even
made-
trying to be a villain. He was
Exactly,
trying
he
to be a
wasn't
hero.
He wants to be a hero.
And that's the thing. Like I like that story of how the humanization of villains.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying. Like they have a reason for what they're for why they became that way.
And you get some of that in
Versus
this
just,
movie.
I was always evil. You know.
Yeah, you get some of that motive here, but it just seems really flat.
It seems very flat. It seems a little bit forced.
There is something they do with the bad guy that I thought was interesting. It's like a cool misdirect. It's not the misdirect that you're thinking, but it's just like a little thing that I noticed earlier on in the movie.
Yeah.
So that's another thing I didn't like. And
I liked the monologue, the big monologue.
yes,
I liked that.
So do I.
That had some really
The big monologue.
heavy themed stuff. Yeah, the big monologue when Miss Incredible is like got the lock on location or whatever.
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
traversing the city trying to find the hideout.
yes,
Yeah.
that was one of the things that I liked the most.
I really liked that.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. Those were really the only two big bad things that I didn't like. I noticed there was a distinct in the first one. There's a really big focus on everyone gets a unique action scene. Dash gets the water run. Violet like uses her force fields in some cool ways. Mr. Incredible fights a bunch of robots. So everyone gets one.
Yeah.
And this, I feel like not everyone gets one. Like Dash doesn't get a cool one.
Yeah.
Mr. Incredible.
No, but they get to play around with the Incredibile and stuff, and they get all those really cool sequences.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, they're more. I think what it is it they wanted to do more scenes of them working together.
Yeah,
with their
that's what I
powers.
saw in this movie.
Now
There was
that we
less
already
isolated.
know what their powers are.
I
So
agree,
it's
but like
kinda-
there wasn't like one big action sequence where I was like, "This is awesome."
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Which I think what they make up for that with is like you said, we get some cool kind of team uppy stuff. A lot of Frozone, a lot more Frozone than I even thought would be in this movie.
Yeah, but it was satisfying. I liked it.
Aside from those three things, I can't think of any other negatives. I think it's pretty.
And
Stupid.
actually, technically, well, that's a spoiler.
We'll get there in a second. We're all chomping at the bit here. Zach, do you want to quickly go through your negatives, or do you just want to go ahead and get into spoilers?
Let's get into the spoilers.
Let's get into spoilers.
Let's go ahead and get into
Spoiler Town. Won't you take me to Spoiler Town?
Spoiler alert.
I liked when you talked about the monologue where the screenslaver first appears and he's
Yeah.
all
First part of the movie where I was like really into it and really just like,
he was
oh
all
yeah.
you people are obsessed with shows. And he goes, you don't play games, you watch game shows. You don't, do XYZ, you do XYZ shows.
So yeah, the screenslaver is just an analogy of what we already are, as slaves to our screens.
Kind of has like a Ultron vibe, doesn't it? Like
Yes,
it's just
but it's paid off in an even worse way because
Yeah.
it's a lie. She doesn't give a shit.
yeah.
Like she doesn't really like. She just like because the bad guy of the movie is Bob Odenkirk's sister.
Who's played up as like the like the brainchild of their
She does
company
all the
or whatever.
technology. She
Yeah.
knows all
Yeah,
the.
but she doesn't care about like society writ large. She
Exactly.
cares more about like I don't want superheroes to be legal.
Exactly.
Because they failed my family, which I don't think is a bad motivation. I just think that it's
not a strong enough motivation.
It's less interesting than what
Yeah.
we start with.
Heck yeah, like your pseudo villain moniker's motivation is better than your own, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that she frames an innocent person and makes them try to murder someone.
Yeah.
That is sinister.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah. That is fucked up.
makes
that was some good villain work.
That's the thing is like, and that's the thing I would like. I think that would have made the depth of that character better.
Imagine if at the end she puts those goggles on a bunch of innocent people and makes the Incredibles fight them. That would have been horrifying. That would have been way more sinister.
That would have been
That would
some-
destroy their credibility forever.
Oh
if
yeah,
they did
that would have been way more sinister. I think they could have went a little bit darker.
Sure.
But not so very credible.
Yeah, like they could have gone a little bit darker, and they could have added a little bit more depth to the backstory of the villain.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
And it's not hard to see her coming either because we get two new characters.
exactly
In this movie.
two out of the blue ex machina
Like,
characters.
let's support your thing and let's like fund your thing and give you brand new
I
everything.
was like, one of y'all is
It's
the
like,
bad
didn't this
guy.
same thing
Exactly.
happen last time? Did you
And I
not learn
thought
your
it was
lesson,
the dude.
Bob?
I thought it was
Yeah,
the dude.
they try to misdirect you at the beginning where he says, "My dad loved superheroes."
Yeah, my dad loves superheroes,
and he
but
was-
I'm a eliminate all you motherfuckers.
She has that line where she's like, "Dad could have gone down to the panic room," and he's like, "That's not true," and he gets mad. And I was like, "That's a misdirect."
Exactly.
They put that in there just to make us sort of veer off from who the actual bad. They're trying to make us think it's him, and that's why I was like, "It's the lady." And when it
Exactly.
is the lady. The more she has conversations with Miss Incredible or whatever.
Yeah,
or
the more I knew, I was like,
The
oh,
more
yeah,
I was like, it's her.
It's just, it's
But
this bitch.
it was for once you got to see Bob
And it's played
Odenkirk.
by everyone's aunt, Catherine Keener.
Oh my gosh.
Which I was like, she's in Get Out, she's the most sugary woman ever,
Oh my
but she's
God.
so evil, and I was like, it's
Yeah.
gonna be her.
Evil. Oh my gosh, she was so evil to get
But I
out.
like the idea of this guy trying to brand superheroes because I feel like that is real. Like how when you watch a movie like
Yeah, how do you
Watchmen-
earn the public's trust of superheroes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's why the Avengers is a thing.
yeah. When
Yeah.
you watch a movie like Watchmen and you're like, this is what it would really be like if they were real.
Yeah,
They'd
yeah.
be
The most
mass-murdering
realistic-
sociopaths.
The
and
most
one guy-
realistic point of view for superheroes.
But I feel like it would be a mixture of Watchmen and if you've ever, I know you have, but if you've ever read a comic book called Invincible,
Yeah.
I feel like it's a weird amalgam of that. Invincible is it's one part Watchmen and one part Incredibles.
Okay.
And another part farce of pretty much like superheroes in general.
Yeah.
So it's more of a satire too.
Well,
Yeah, it has a lot of that in it.
But I feel like it's a better example of. I feel like this part of the Incredibles is a better idea of what would actually happen as superheroes would become, not like our celebrities, but they would become kind of like politicians, where we sort of pick the ones that represent our values.
Superheroes be politicians,
and they would do that in a way where like you create a brand around yourself by associating yourself with a certain idea or something. And I feel like that's what they tried to do.
So you've got like left wing and right wing superheroes.
Not exactly, but
that would have been interesting.
It's more about creating.
That would have been interesting as fuck. If you do,
they did that with Batman v Superman. I feel like the idea is just creating a brand around a superhero, like Elastigirl. She don't make no messes, or like whatever you'd like make her pitch laundry detergent because she's the cleanest superhero or whatever. I don't know. There's something in there
sounding like some like BioShock kind of stuff.
Yeah, I like. I can't quite put my finger on it, but like I like the idea there of like superheroes, like they did it in Hancock. Like superheroes need public relations teams. To help them function.
Public relations superhero.
Which is why, like, when you see a story like a Watchmen or Invincible or something, how the public react to these really super. Like in Watchmen, there's a guy who can destroy the whole planet if he wants to. Yeah. Like, so how do you make that guy relatable?
Exactly.
That's why I think it's
so. I think it's like with those, the realism comes from the public. Okay, instead of making the public this arbitrary people that we just save, okay, what would the public really think about?
You got to tell these stories from the public's point of view.
It's from the public's point of view. When I see this motherfucker in real life, what the fuck do I do? If I see Superman in real fucking life,
I'd probably fucking run.
What the fuck would I do?
I'd ask him for his autograph.
And then you realize there's other motherfuckers.
Well, it depends. What it would end up becoming is it would become like which superhero, like certain superheroes would be like Hugh Jackman in real life is like the nicest man in the world, and everyone knows him because he plays an awesome man full of piss and vinegar, but he's like a song and dance man who did musical theater, so he's easy to everyone likes him. But then you'd have actors like Daniel Day-Lewis who like go off into the woods for 10 years and then come back and win an Oscar for Lincoln or something. I feel like some superheroes would be like Mr. Incredible or Superman, where it'd be like, oh my God, he's so relatable. He's just like me. He eats pizza from the back forward or whatever. And then some people are going to be like your dangerous Iron Mans or Batmans. They're lawless vigilantes who do stuff their own way and have a morally gray
loose cannons.
Yeah, loose cannons. Who eventually would be tracked down by the big, nicer superheroes, which is what usually tends to happen. But I don't know.
Yeah, but
I like that idea, and I wish we had more of that in this.
Yeah,
I feel like we could have with the villain, but she kind of just.
Yeah.
She doesn't drop the ball.
I guess it's not just the Marvel universe that has a villain problem. I guess it's just pretty much superhero movies.
Well, I think she was like, if I saw this in a Marvel movie, I would put her near the top. Because I think if I didn't see Syndrome before, because Syndrome is so much better because his motivation is better. Yeah. He has a literal tie-in with all these superheroes. He wanted to be one.
Yeah.
And his farce comes from the fact that, like, not only I want to be one so bad that I'm going to kill people.
Like, I'm pretty sure Syndrome was the idea for, like, a popular Marvel comic book. It's called Superior Spider-Man. Yeah. And it's where, like, Doc Ock, Dr. Octopus, like, kills Peter Parker. And then, like, and does, like, a Freaky Friday thing and, like, inhabits his body. And so Peter Parker in Doc Ock's body dies. Doc Ock is now the new Spider-Man, but he inhabits, like, he ends up getting like most of Peter Parker's memories and stuff too, and it changes him, and he's like, oh man, well, I want to be the best Spider-Man now. I want to be the superior Spider-Man. So he just starts doing everything better.
Yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting. There's a Superman story where Lex Luthor becomes Superman after he dies.
Really?
And it's real sinister. I like it a lot. And that's kind of feels like that kind of feels like what Syndrome was all about.
Yeah.
Is like he didn't care about saving people. He just wanted the adulation. He wanted other little Syndromes like him to love him the way he loved Mr. Incredible.
Yeah.
It's more personal.
Because he said, you know, he wanted to give away his powers, you know, like he wanted to give away his technology and make everybody super.
Yeah.
And he said when everybody's super,
no one will be.
No one will be.
It's great.
Exactly.
Yeah. I feel like we start off on a good place with this villain, and by the end of the movie, I'm like, oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
But, you know, I would still say she's better than like a...
I would, if I were to put Incredibles 2 on, like, in terms of a roller coaster, it starts out with a pretty big drop, pretty fun ride. There's a couple loop-de-loops, but it loses steam towards the end.
Yeah.
And we come to a very safe stop.
I do like we get the comic book trope of mind-controlled superheroes fighting our lesser-powered heroes.
Yeah.
I like that. I also like Jack's powers a lot.
Yeah, Jack's powers are dope as fuck.
His powers are all over the place. And I love that it's like he's just chaos inside of a baby.
Exactly.
He's like a regular baby.
He's really just a chaotic ass baby.
I feel like most of the things in this movie are just like a metaphor for parenting and family and all of that good stuff.
I don't even think they're metaphors half the time.
Exactly. Like,
I think
that's
they're
some real
it's
shit.
Just like
how do you deal with a fucking baby like that? Like...
Mr. Incredible has a breakdown halfway through, and
he can warp through fucking dimensions, and you're just like, what
laser eyes, can turn on fire. That raccoon fight was
raccoon fight was
pretty
dope as fuck. Like the way he was, like Jack got hands, man. Like he was beating the shit out of that raccoon.
Yeah,
man, it was a good, like, what? How long was it? Like what?
Like
2?
that sequence is at least
like,
7 minutes long.
That was a long ass fight. Like he was beating his ass.
Yeah.
Like, but that's the funny, crazy thing about it. Like, but the fact as a baby, right? You could warp through fucking dimensions.
Yeah.
As a baby.
But he has like no. He may have control of it, but he doesn't know what that control is yet.
No, has no real control. Well,
yeah. And I also like that you have to give him a cookie to lure him out of the dimension.
And it kind of brings
giving him cookies.
It kind of brings to light and makes you
turns
think
into a fucking demon baby, and he just fucking attacks.
It kind of brings to light and makes you think about other superheroes, like in the pantheon of superheroes, like how they were when they were like babies or very small children. Like, I don't know, man.
Superheroes were when they were.
What if Wolverine as a baby was like popping out his claws and shit? Like,
doesn't X-Men kind of explore that a little bit, like with just the idea of young mutants?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so it's like it's kind of like that, you know.
There was I remember there was one. I don't read a lot of X-Men comics. I know I should. Everyone berates me. All my comic friends do, at least. There's one X-Men comic where there's a baby that can. The power was like he could time travel or something, and like so he never gets to meet his parents because when he's in the womb, he time travels to like another century or whatever out of his mother's womb.
Holy shit!
Like a few months before he's supposed to be born, and he almost dies in the wilderness. And he's found by this like guy who nurses him back to health, or like finishes his term, and then when he's like 2 years old, he kind of keeps time traveling all over the world and throughout different times and stuff. Like one time he's found by these people in feudal Japan and stuff, and it's a really kind of
so it's kind of like Quantum Leap. Like,
yeah, but it's real sad and it's a real bummer. But like,
yeah,
like, oh dang!
But
so like from birth,
is he in control?
He's
of his
birthed
power?
out of his own century.
So he's
Yes.
not. So he's
Wow.
not in control of his power.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like that movie, the book, The Time Traveler's Wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, it's okay. It's about a guy who can time travel, but he can't control it. And it's sort of like that.
Like,
and,
that's some real fucked up shit.
Near the end of it, he time travels, and like as he grows older, he can control it a little better, and he time travels back to find his mother, and the mother moved on and had other babies that were normal and stuff, and he never really gets like any closure to her, and she kind of forgets about him, and he just decides to like go on and become like a supervillain or something. And it's pretty cool. It's a great origin, and it's a great idea for a superhero.
I mean, it makes perfect sense though. Like to go through that type of experience, you would be justified in being a supervillain.
Yeah. I don't know how I got there. Oh yeah, Jack is a baby, can't control his powers. Are there any other negatives that we didn't like? Because I want to get to the good stuff.
Okay, the other negatives. The ending. I don't think like the way it ended there wasn't that big of a climax at the end sequence. You know what I'm saying? At the
Big ship.
Yeah, the big ship. It's like it's cool. It was all right. You know what I'm saying? It was a little dope because the way the music was going in time with it, and then Frozone saving the fucking day.
Just makes a giant.
I give credit to Frozone for saving the fucking day. If it wasn't for Frozone, y'all motherfuckers.
If it wasn't for Frozone, there'd be collateral damage like just for days.
Like
he is saving the reconstruction bill.
Frozone needs more credit, you know, like
movies.
because you got to think about it. He doesn't have to do anything for these motherfuckers, but he chooses to.
But it's easy.
Because
that's an easy power to have.
Yeah.
To create incredibly powerful, ostensibly, ice. It can stop boats. I'm assuming it's stronger than regular ice.
Yeah, it's strong.
But like to do
ice.
that, like if I just got mad at somebody or whatever, and I was just like wanted to I'd like freeze them inside of their car until it's thawed out overnight or whatever. Like it's like that power makes it kind of easy for him to be a superhero. Whereas like imagine having super strength and growing up and you accidentally like break your table or something.
Oh yeah. Fucking you fuck up your table. Yeah, that's the thing is like if you had
his power is designed to be as cool and as useful as possible.
If you had super strength and you weren't in control,
Frozone.
I
like that name.
Frozone. You know what's funny? I like you know the interactions with Frozone and his wife. Like you know, like the fact that his wife doesn't really approve of what he does.
Yeah. this wife nagging scene wasn't as good as the first.
Yeah, the wife nagging scene was the wife nagging scene in the first one was way better.
So what do you mean you'll be back and you're going somewhere? You better be back in no time or whatever.
It's for the greater good, honey. Where is my super suit? Where is my super suit?
I wanted a scene like that long, but we didn't get that. But it was fine. It was good. I liked it. You think the wife is like? You think we'll ever like meet the wife?
That's why I was saying.
I hope not. I hope she remains faceless because that's the comedy in it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like in the terms of like, yeah, you'll never see the wife.
I will say the action scene where Frozone fights the other. The brainwashed heroes when they come to the house.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
The teleporter chick was cool. Not teleporter, but she can open up portals.
Yeah, or open up portals.
She was cool.
Yeah.
The guy who
had, like,
vomits lava was kind of lame.
Yeah, who vomits lava. Yeah, he was lame as fuck.
Dangerous, but he looks like a
What
goblin.
about the dude who kind of has is semi telekinesis, but he's only able to like
Crush things.
He can't expand.
I thought that was hilarious.
That was-
Actually,
Right?
I thought it was pretty funny.
Can you uncrush this? He's like, why would I
uncrush something?
Can you unpunch something?
I know, right?
It's a good joke.
I know, right? That was a good joke. It really was.
Yeah. All right. I feel like we keep trying to talk about negatives and we just get to good stuff. So let's just get to the good stuffs that I actually want to talk about.
What are these juicy morsels that you really like, Rob?
Yeah, I like the beginning. Like the very beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's the agent grilling this dude.
Yeah, it was a great way to start it. A great way to
Very
tie it
Men in
into the first
Blackish
movie.
kind of way.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
is Men in Black because like it starts off they erase Tony's what is his name? Tony's memory.
Generic
Tony, yeah.
white kid.
Generic white kid Tony.
Hey, Tony.
They erase his
Gonna
fucking
wipe your
memory.
mind.
And then, you know, this dude just goes about his day getting chewed out by his boss.
Yeah.
It's just like, what motherfucker? But yeah, it's I thought it was an interesting start.
Let's not
to
forget that this guy's name was Rick Dickerson.
Rick Dickerson.
And to put that in a kid's movie,
I like that guy is like... That guy has the same attitude.
he's like Tommy Lee Jones in an animated
Yeah,
film.
he's basically
Yes.
Tommy Lee Jones.
But I like the fact that he has that Tommy Lee Jones exhaustion towards
Yeah.
his job, his apathy.
I'm too old for this
Tommy Lee
shit.
Jones
the
exhaustion.
way that you undoubtedly walk into your job every day, but he has to do it with superheroes.
Well, like,
Why do you assume
the
that I hate
level
my
of-
job?
Zach, I see it all over your face.
The level of fuck this shit that is
Yes, exactly.
that is in his mind right
He
now.
walks
He's like,
into the job and someone's like, Dickerson, you got a guy like that. He's like, Jesus Christ.
God damn it.
Bob Parr just threw his boss through a wall.
It's always got to be Dickerson. You know who I imagine doing that voice? Another like Breaking Bad alum. The what's his
Oh,
name?
Bryan Cranston?
No, the other
Burr?
old guy in Breaking Bad.
You said who?
Mike Ehrmantraut. Yeah, that's who I've imagined doing.
Oh, Mike
Dickerson's
Hell yeah.
voice.
Mike,
He'd be great.
that would be great.
Yeah.
So if there was a live action Incredibles, just put Mike as Dickerson. You're solid.
Oh yeah,
He'd be great.
He'd be great as Dick.
No one does curmudgeon like that guy.
Yeah,
I
like
know.
that's what I'm saying. Like that motherfucker is just.
He's just salty as fuck.
Yeah, in
Salty
Breaking Bad, that's
motherfucker.
already what he is. He's a contract murderer, but he treats
Yeah.
it like, oh god,
Oh God, I fucking hate my job.
Yeah.
I don't want to quit because I'm good at it.
Like he has apathy, just like me being upset about. Like,
You ever
being
hate-
good at mixing?
That's what I'm
music
saying.
or
You ever
something.
hate a job you're good at? Like you just
Yes.
like.
It's like you hating. It's like you.
I was really good at slanging tacos.
Yeah,
at
like-
Taco Bell.
It's like you going to do a stand-up set and you're like, I don't like any of you people.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, whatever.
I mean, but like Doug Stanhope is kind of one of
That's
those
about
guys.
like that's about what it is.
Doug Stanhope is the kind of guy that's good at stand-up but hates doing it.
Yeah.
It's so ironic and funny, but like yeah, like I think the beginning was dope. The beginning was definitely dope, and just how I like how it starts immediately after the the ending in The Incredibles.
Yeah, you
1.
can watch them back to back.
It's basically back to back.
Yeah.
Which is pretty
So
baller.
you get immediately back into the universe where it happened, exactly how it happened.
Yeah, I think that
There's no hand holding here. They automatically assume,
they assume
that you saw the first
that you
one.
saw the first movie.
Like-
that, boom, back.
Like
into the
I
movie.
see this movie as not necessarily being made totally for like this generation of kids. They're pandering also to all these 20-something-year-old
Find
people.
a DVD of The Incredibles and make your kid watch it real quick
Yeah,
to go see this, then you're a bad parent. You should have a kid.
yeah. If your kids have not seen The Incredibles 1,
Do
You are
yourself
bad.
and them a favor and make them
you
watch
are a
it.
bad
Yes.
parent.
It's quality entertainment. I like that when Bob has to, be a stay-at-home dad and stuff. It starts off with him being like, "There's no problem." Like, hey, dude,
And then he's just like almost dead by the time.
yes,
There's like a couple of days.
'cause it's
Oh
got to
my
be
gosh.
what it's like.
Yeah,
I don't
like
have kids, but I imagine like that's it. That's what it's
oh
like.
yeah, like I have
Like you're supposed to be able to
I have
count the
younger
days
siblings.
in the scenes, and you can, but it does it in such a way that you almost get confused as to like how many days have passed as well.
Like Bob, he's like,
Yeah.
"How long has it been?" Like, it's been 30 minutes.
That's pretty cool the way it kind of does that to you.
There was a lot more backstory to Violet. I mean, or there was a lot more screen time for Violet. Like Violet's gotten a lot more.
Her superpowers
like that.
got way cooler from the first
Yeah.
one to the second one. She can throw like energy discs
exactly.
now.
That's what I was
And I was
like.
like, that's way. It's like you ever see a superpower and you were like if you're watching the movie and you're like, if I had that superpower, that's all I would use all the time. It's like Superman and his heat vision,
Yeah.
or like Batman and whatever one of his
Batarangs.
does. I guess.
Batarang, yeah.
It's like Dr. Manhattan and blowing people up
Blowing
from the
people the fuck
inside.
up.
I'm like, why would you use any other power? That
I
does
mean,
everything.
there's that
for you.
one go-to power that you think is cool as fuck that you always want to use.
Yes.
It's like Spider-Man slinging his fucking webs.
Yeah.
It's just
Like the Flash can like vibrate through walls, but like there's parts when I'll see him open the door and I'm like, why would you just go through the wall?
yeah.
I was like, that's how I feel about Violet's new energy disc.
That's
power.
the thing. I think and that's the thing. Is like, yeah, they've given Violet more control of her powers. She's more in control of her powers and mastered her powers, so to speak. But Dash, you don't see that much with Dash. Like he hasn't, mastered some way to like vibrate and to, walk the doors.
It's because I feel like his powers are pretty straightforward. He just runs fast.
Yeah.
I mean, but like they could always just go the, a real deeper route just as far as speed in general.
Yeah,
Like,
I wanted a cool Quicksilvery scene.
that's what
where
I'm
he does
saying.
something
Like he could get a little bit more Quicksilvery. That would have been
Yeah.
dope. But yeah, I think that was good. And the fact that they're all, I think it's like, yeah, they're all working together more in this one.
Can I
You
just
see
talk about
that
how
more-
great all of those like Elastigirl scenes were? Like those
Yeah.
chase scenes that were great.
That first chase scene when she has the bike was.
Pretty gnarly.
Yeah,
I
it
loved
was.
it. It was
Yeah,
sick.
yeah.
I would like for the first time I saw that I was like, oh, it's cool. She gets a motorcycle like Black Widow, and then like the bike comes apart.
Yeah,
and
it
I was
comes
like,
Yeah,
"Dope."
and you're like,
and she uses it to fucking jump.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
dope as fuck. Like, yeah,
Elastigirl, like cool factor times 10 versus Mr. Incredible, who just has that car.
Yeah.
Yeah. The car is pretty dope, though.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he, like, get the car back at the beginning? Like, when he sees the car for the first time and he's fuming angry.
Yeah.
Because those people own it fair and square or whatever. That's what he said.
Yeah, because
At the auction
they're
or whatever.
auctioning it. They were auctioning it.
I'd still take it back. I'd still do it. Fuck those people.
But yeah, like, and
He doesn't want to stir up trouble or whatever.
That scene where she tracks down the screenslaver, like he comes on the screen and hypnotizes everybody, and then like she plans to do it again by interviewing the guy and tracking his signal. That scene was weirdly creepy.
Yeah,
Like,
I liked it. It was one of my most favorite sequences of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's pretty
Like
dope
for
scene.
half a second, it turned into like Daredevil on Netflix.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it did get pretty dark there. Like, it
I
was
was like,
like,
I don't like this. This is scary.
yeah.
He's got a bunch of
But-
locks on his door.
but I
and that
think-
part where she sneaks under the door to open it, and you just see him standing there looking at her hands. I was like, oh god.
Yeah.
I was
But
like-
that's the thing. I think.
and then it's
that-
ruined because you know it's just a pizza guy. underneath it.
Exactly. But I think the thing is, like, I think Disney has mastered the level of, darkness, like in having a certain level of comfortable darkness in a children's movie.
Yeah,
Because
a certain level of creepiness that they
yeah,
can
a certain
inject
level
in
of
there.
creepiness that the kids can handle, so they could, be like, okay, because like, like some of the best movies, talk about dark subjects and they have pretty dark, intense scenes, but they try to be more lighthearted about it since it's a cartoon. So they kind of mastered that balance between that darkness and lightheartedness of a kid's movie.
It's sort of like in the first one when like Syndrome says "after all," and he goes, "I am your biggest fan," and he had that kind of like twisted psycho moment or whatever, and I was like, ugh. Anyway, yeah, I can dig that. I think Disney's got a good hold on this. I just wish some of this darkness would translate to other like live action stuff that they do sometimes.
So you think it should, translate a little bit more to older audiences, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like kids watch Game of Thrones and stuff now,
that's
man.
true.
Like I feel like the line is a little, and some people would say this isn't a good thing, but I feel like the line has been pushed a little further for kids, and they're a little okay with.
Yeah, I mean, because they're
things
exposed to so much information.
Like I feel like in a movie like I mean, Infinity War isn't the darkest movie ever, but it does its best with that ending.
Yeah,
and I feel like there's a part in the movie where he stabs Tony Stark.
Yeah,
and he's like, I respect you, Stark.
I mean, he got stabbed in the throat, like what?
Yeah, I feel like that's a good example. What I'm saying is like I feel like they did a lot of work in that movie to sort of write themselves out of having to have some darker moments, like when Thanos stabs him. Yeah. I was just kind of like, just stab him again real quick.
Exactly.
Why you don't give a fuck about this guy? Kill him.
Exactly.
So I was like, I feel like people can handle, especially even kids, in movies like this and The Incredibles or any other kind of superhero-ish fare, they can handle death scenes pretty well. They're not going to be like, "Oh, Dad, was that okay?" Like they're gonna get it.
Yeah,
so I feel like I wouldn't have minded. Like when she gets attacked in that hypnosis room. Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
Did you see the signs outside the movie theater though? That was like warning people of epilepsy.
Yeah,
I felt like it would have been. I felt like it would have been cooler if they had a dynamic where it's like, it's like, they did have Mrs. Incredible, be the main, plot to everything, but I felt like it should have been a more like they had her as the individualized, which is cool, but I think it would have been great if they added a more family dynamic to where it's like, okay, like they tried to closer to the end, but it didn't really have as much depth.
Yeah,
it's
more about being a dad.
Yeah, it's more about him being a father, and she's going out being the main superhero. Yeah, she's being the breadwinner. So the roles are reversed.
Sure, I like that though.
Which is good, but it's like, okay, it kind of
the whole ending scene does take some of the wind out, doesn't it? It feels like it just becomes like a big, like in the end of like the last one, Syndrome releases his giant robot, which is. First of all, I like that because it feels weird and nostalgic. Yeah. Like it feels like you'd read an old 50s.
Like an old pulp.
Yeah.
Yes. It feels like that movie Sky Captain.
Incredibles feels very pulpy.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, it's like, behold, my giant robot. Like it feels, it feels like a movie that, but like then the way it's presented is so interesting.
Fallout.
But in this one, it's just like there's a big boat and it's on a crash course. I'd just be like, just move everyone out of the small area it's going to crash into.
Did I already make a speed reference in this
Yes.
pod? Okay.
Yes, you did. Actually.
Okay. Just making sure I put that in there.
Why is like and like the way that the bad guy goes out, she's just kind of she kind of just like the oxygen is getting thin, so you're losing the ability to.
And
function.
that's another thing though. They killed off Syndrome in the first one.
Yeah,
she lives in this one.
Yeah, which
they show the mercy. They show mercy.
They showed mercy.
I didn't hate that, but I wanted like the actual conflict and the way it resolves with her to be handled, and I wanted her to have like a plan other than I have a parachute and a plane. I'm like, oh no, not a plane. I was like,
she's supposed to be this big technology woman, and, like inventor.
Exactly. She could have gone out with a bigger fight.
Yeah, I feel like her plan of getting superheroes to not be legal by I feel like that's just the weakest plan.
It was thinking
the better
too small.
thing to do would be to kidnap another hero, brainwash them and have them kill people. I know it's a kids movie, but like I'm just trying to.
I mean, but it makes sense because the concept of death is already introduced into the movie.
Sure.
So it's like
this movie gets plenty dark. You could have had like a Civil War scene where something explodes and people die, and superhero dying a guy is still at large.
That being said, like I'm not saying you have to show a bunch of death scenes.
Yeah, or
but
someone's dismembered body.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like you can imply death a whole lot more, in a kids movie than giving credit for.
Absolutely.
Like it's just like they could have went a little darker just to add more depth to the movie.
Sure. And I feel like for like all she did was she created the ability to control other people essentially, but she never uses that for her advantage.
Yeah.
I mean she uses it for her plan, but like when she's physically in danger, I mean I guess she has that little arsenal of like controlled superheroes, but she has nobody. You know what would have been great if there was one of these new superheroes that they meet who just came out and like is really idealistic. Yeah. And then she uses but they're like really powerful, more powerful than Elastigirl, Mr. Incredible.
Yeah.
And she
uses turns
that guy into like quote unquote like the Juggernaut.
Like we've seen it before, but it would have been better than what they had in place.
So you were saying like make one of those superheroes a villain?
Yeah, but like make a better one, but make them like
make him more
powerful, like a new Superman-esque character. That they have to fight, but he's like really nice and like genial, and you like they kind of do that with the portal girl. Yeah. But it doesn't.
Like, cause what if? Okay,
I wanted that, but then the girl has to fight him, and maybe
hypothetically, let's use Portal Girl as an example, right? So. Portal Girl, instead of maybe she has a stronger superpower than Portals, right?
Void is her name. We keep calling her Portal Girl.
Void. I know. All right. Void.
I like Portal Girl.
I know, right? But
it sounds like it's a portable girl.
or she has powers of poop.
Portal Girl.
Portal Girl.
Portal Girl, come here. Void. But what if Void were to have a stronger power than just portals, and then she becomes the villain? So. Is that what you're?
No, I'm not saying that she makes. I'm saying she physically makes her the villain by controlling her mind, and
like she did with the other superheroes. But they're not just normal superheroes. But it'd have to be like
more powerful, and she takes it further. Like maybe she makes this person almost maybe kill somebody.
So Rob just wants an excuse to have a Superman in a movie.
No, I just want someone like more powerful and a little more dangerous, so that the stakes at the end are like.
So are you saying like
a little more?
Yeah, there weren't any stakes here. What I saw was like maybe some pork chops, not full blown steaks.
But like so what you're saying
That's
is
my problem. I want steaks.
So what you're saying is like you would want them to showcase a little bit more of their powers to the full extent,
sure, that could be it. Or like at the end when they're on the airplane and Elastigirl's trying to basically get her out, there should be like a. Like there's a hidden compartment or whatever. She goes, "Oh, I was expecting this. I brought some backup," and she presses a button and like,
and it's Arnold Schwarzenegger,
some super powered crazy person or something,
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
or whatever.
Get to the chopper.
It's a fucking Terminator.
Because all the people's powers in this, it's actually a compliment to the movie, but all the power levels in this movie feel
underwhelming.
Yeah, but they feel they're just in line enough to be with everybody else.
Yeah.
Nobody is foreign. Like even Mr. Incredible.
You feel like there's a lot.
They're not the A-list hero.
There's more fair fights than there are stacked against one particular hero
but even
or
Mr.
another.
Incredible, who isn't
It's
A-list
balanced
hero.
like any good Street Fighter game.
Yes. But even Mr. Incredible, who is an A-list, he doesn't just he doesn't just completely run over the competition.
Yeah.
But I feel like to make it interesting, they could be like, oh, we've had Elastigirl, you just met Void, here's a new guy called Neutron or something. His power is to, like, he can swell up with energy and blow stuff up, and he's really dangerous.
Yeah.
But he's a nice guy, and he's not going to do that.
Yeah.
And she puts the glasses on him and makes him fight Elastigirl.
And makes him do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be a little more sinister, and we get a cool thing instead of just like, oh, it's a
Yeah,
runaway
it's a
boat
little bit
at the
more
end.
dynamic. Yeah, like, I get what you're saying.
I don't need to see superheroes stop things that are out of control anymore. is what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I've seen how many runaway train sequences have we had?
Make things
The
say.
Wolverine has one. Spider-Man 2 has one. We have
Stop a train.
Age of Ultron has one.
Oh my gosh.
This movie has one. There's a lot of runaway train scenes.
The fucking stop a train scene. Isn't it like similar to like just jumping the shark?
Yeah, it's
like,
superhero de rigueur now. Have a
Exactly.
runaway something in your movie.
It's the superhero jump the shark. Like that's what it's like. All right, I'm gonna stop a runaway.
And I get it.
train.
I like watching superheroes save people, but there's some more inventive ways you could do it.
Yeah, like
Most
more intimate
deaf.
way, like when they save, individual people. Like
Yeah.
so. Yeah, that would be interesting. More so, just to see, how the Incredibles, they would save more individual people, kind of like in the first one with the old lady and the cat. But
Who comes back in this? Dash saves her again at the beginning.
yeah,
This is good. I like it.
All right. So all in all, what's your final verdict, Rob?
As we all know, I don't do number ratings on this because I think they're disingenuous. If you want to know what I think, just listen to the whole podcast, which you know because you're already listening to the podcast. But I think this is a really strong movie. I think it's definitely up there with the first one. I would say it's in like my top, definitely in my top 10 Pixar movies.
All right.
And
Fair enough.
I'm definitely gonna buy it on Blu-ray. I'm gonna go re-buy the original Incredibles on Blu-ray so I have them together.
I'll bet they'll come out with a double pack. Just wait.
Real quick, before we wrap it up and do like some of our favorite Pixar movies to wrap things up, I wanted to see what would you want to see in a sequel to this?
What would I want to see in a sequel to? What would I want to see in Incredibles 3?
Yeah,
Okay, Incredibles 3. I would like to see.
because they do kind of leave us off in a sequel-ish way.
It's-
I would like to
it's
see.
room for a
I would like to see a
Superheroes
Jack.
back
They
out
left.
in
They
the,
left room for a sequel. They
I would like
definitely
to see a
left room for
Jack time jump. I want to see Jack not as a baby.
How old? 8.
So you want there to be?
Let's say let's say he's starting school.
So are you saying you want it to be a
Like
time
he's
skip?
starting elementary school
Yeah,
age.
like that.
I think
Dashes in his adolescence.
I think time skip would be.
You
good.
know,
Violet's
Violet's.
in college.
A time skip would be good because it would make more sense because like I think it would be superior to just making the third one about the Underminer. I think
Yeah,
it
they
would
never
be-
caught the Underminer. Like
They
that
never-
was
Yeah, he got
that was a
away.
thread that was left completely loose. Like
Yeah.
I was really bothered by that. By the way, yeah,
Yeah,
things I
like-
hate about the movie.
Yeah,
I
they
didn't catch
never-
the fucking Underminer.
They never caught the Underminer, but you know what would be even great?
Who is a mutant mole man, by the way?
Exactly.
Probably pretty dangerous.
But you know what? You know what'd be even great is if they did the time skip and they still haven't caught the Underminer.
yeah, like he's
What
been
if
at
the-
large.
And now he's this real badass motherfucker.
What
that is
if
gonna
the
just-
Underminer is a running gag through each of these movies? They fight people way more powerful than him, but they just can't catch him.
They can't catch the Underminer
That's
like a
pretty good.
mole because he's a mole.
It's like
Yeah.
Deadshot versus Batman. Deadshot's killed everybody, but he can't kill Batman, and it drives him crazy. That'd
Exactly.
be great.
So yeah, like it would be like he would be like because like he looks like a mole. Like so,
Yeah, it's weird.
It's like whack-a-mole, and you just can't.
I think that. Oh my god, that's pretty.
I can't fucking get the fucking Underminer.
Here's what I would like to see in an idea. I like the time jump idea. I think that's a good idea. They leave us in the Incredibles 2. They leave us with a nice little shot of like all these heroes are back out in the light and stuff. So like we're probably going to get superheroes legal again. I'd
Yeah.
like to be reminded why they were illegal in the first place. I'd like to see a guy whose like life was ruined by not just like kind of what we get here, but like a guy whose like life and family were ruined by superheroes.
Sort of
And
like
he becomes their bad guy.
sort of like similar to syndrome like motivation.
Yeah, but like maybe like he'd like, oh, Dyna guy was fighting a robot and a building literally like fell and killed my family and I don't have them anymore. I'd like to see that and like get really reminded of why these superheroes were made illegal in the first place. Is there validity to the fact that maybe they shouldn't be illegal? Like I want to deal with the aftermath of them being legal again and the problems that come.
I think, or
and I want to deal with Violet. They kind of pose it in this where she's like, maybe I don't want to be a superhero. I renounce my superheroism. And she tries to grind her suit in the garbage disposal.
Yeah. I think
maybe she chooses not to be.
I think there, I think the key to pulling that off is just that there should be a strong enough motivation behind the villain. So like I think it would be a good dynamic is if a villain who is capable of influencing the public perception. Like, it's not like the second one is kind of is pretty much.
Yeah, we
like
get a little bit of that, but it's like.
But I want a little bit more of that. Like, just like okay, a villain that's able to convince everybody to hate superheroes again.
Yeah.
And then get it to the point to where he builds an army. Like Hitler-esque, you know what I'm saying? Like he builds an army of people that are able to fucking.
We need a Lex Luthor /
a Lex
Legion
Luthor.
of Doom.
Exactly. A more Lex Luthor like
raise those stakes, man.
Raise the stakes. Exactly. Raise the
less
stakes.
pork chop, more steak.
Yeah. And I want to see more of the older superheroes come back. I want to know who's dead.
I think after they do Incredibles 3, it would be great to do the spinoffs
or do them both at the same time. Or
Dude,
like do a Netflix series
what if
or something.
I think a
Tales
Netflix,
of the Incredibles.
I think a Netflix series would be good for the prequel.
Yeah.
I don't think it has to
or
be
kicking it with Frozone.
Frozone, yeah. They need a Frozone.
That's the best way to do it. Do a
Yeah.
Frozone and have the other characters as like team ups or whatever.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. That'd be dope. I'd watch that.
Yeah, that would be dope.
All good sequel ideas.
I know, right?
I wanted to take this time. We're coming up on 75 minutes. We have a little bit of time left. Let's talk.
Top 3 Pixar movies?
Sure. Or just some of our favorites. We don't have to rank them. You like to rank them. You're all about the ranking.
I like to put things in.
Because you rank third in the hierarchy of this podcast right now.
Good Lord, Rob. My name's on the podcast. Okay, I know my place. I'm very secure in my place within this this cast.
Well. Zach, you're number one to me, baby.
I'll start it off. One of my most favorite Pixar movies is A Bug's Life. Also, not only because it's a great tale and story about leaving your
samurai.
Yeah, it is.
I mean that is a compliment. It's a great movie.
It also has a really great. It's one of the very few Disney movies to have a truly great video game tie-in.
Really.
A Bug's Life for the PlayStation 1 was actually a challenging and rewarding, video game and experience, much like the Lion King on the Genesis and Super before it.
Oh yeah, Lion King was pretty good.
Nice. What do you like about the movie?
The movie, I mean, I like all the characters, like the voice acting, I like the idea of like an anthill and all the bugs. I like the personification of the bugs.
Right?
No,
I love all that.
Kevin Spacey is Hopper. Dennis Leary is the ladybug.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn. I did not make
I like the fleas. I like, I love all that. The character work in that movie is great.
Yeah. I like that it's all built around a farce, too. They're just a bunch of, like, circus people. And they're like,
yeah.
I love mistaken identity stories. They're always pretty good for me.
It's like, what do you mean you're not Yeah.
Vincent, you got one?
My favorite Pixar.
Not even your favorite. Just like some that you really like and stick out in your mind.
One Pixar movie I really like. I want to say Toy Story.
Toy Story's dope.
If you got to slap a sequel on it, you can. Don't be afraid to not be a purist.
Toy Story 2 and 3 are better than Toy Story 1.
Yes, like
way more emotionally gratifying.
Than the animation, though.
It really is. Like Toy Story.
Like, go back and watch Toy Story 1, dude.
The fucking sequence in Toy Story 3.
Good.
Yeah, but the animation doesn't hold up.
Oh yeah, no, it's a little rubbery.
Yeah.
2 and 3 are definitely a little more solid. I love Toy Story 2 has that heartbreaking sequence when Jesse's left on that box on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And you think about all the times you gave your toys away, and I'm like, oh,
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Where are my Transformers at? Like, yeah, it's sad, but it's good though.
All right, Rob, what's Pixar done for you?
I love Wall-E. I think Wall-E is
I haven't really just sat down and watched Wall-E.
should.
I like the message that Wally
It's very
sends.
smart. It's very heartwarming. It's very funny. The captain is like the captain of that ship. So the premise of Wall-E is we destroy the planet and shit on it for forever. And like eventually humanity board a giant cruise ship. And when I say a cruise ship, I mean it's a cruise ship with a pool and everything. And we just sit on these big like lawn chairs.
So we're all just
float around.
fat.
Yes,
and fucking and have advanced
useless.
technology.
Yes, and there's a picture of all the captains of this ship, and they just get progressively fatter.
Oh my
and it's
God.
very cutting edge commentary. I love
Holy
it.
shit.
But we leave on this planet these little robots to clean up our trash, and they pack the trash into little cubes and organize it, which feels superfluous, but whatever. What difference does it make if the trash is in cubes, but they're called Wallies or whatever?
Yeah.
And he's the only one left. And every day he packs his trash. He has a little pet cockroach that he takes around with him, and he goes out to the dump and he does his job, and he goes back to his little hovel, his little ship or whatever. I don't know if it's not a ship. It's like a garage or something.
Yeah.
And he watches old-timey black and white movies, and he looks up at the stars and wishes for a friend. It's a very heartwarming movie. I love it a lot. And eventually, this little, like a little robot drone comes down called Eva. And it's like this really, like Wally looks like a tractor, and he's gross and dirty, but she's pristine and polished pearly white. And she comes down, and she comes with like a giant arm laser cannon, which is
Really?
cool. But she comes down to see if Earth is habitable again. And all she says,
Yeah.
the only thing that Wally says is Wally, and the only thing that Eva says is Eva. So there's no dialogue for the first, like, I don't know, 20 minutes of the movie.
Oh, so they doing SLM?
What's going on over there?
We're just nothing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, Wally's pretty dope though. Yeah.
Wally is quite good, and eventually he gets taken back to the ship where they can find out that Earth is habitable again, and they need to turn around and go back. But they're all fat and complacent, except for this one captain who sees Wally's memory banks, and he's kind of overcome with joy by all the history and the movies and the dancing and everything that they don't have anymore.
Yeah.
It's a very nice message, and there's a sinister robot that is kind of the bad guy in a very creepily like HAL 9000 kind of way.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a good movie. I like it a lot. I also like. Not a lot of people like this movie, but I like that movie Brave.
I haven't seen Brave.
It was all right.
Yeah, it's not terrible, but there's something about it. I think it's because it's like in Scotland.
Yeah.
And it's medieval and it has this great soundtrack to it that I'm like, I like this a lot. Mumford and Sons do a song on the soundtrack, and I was like,
You know, I like Up. Up was good.
Up will wreck your life. The first 10 minutes of Up.
Oh,
will wreck
yeah,
your life.
like the first
And then
10 minutes.
The rest of it's still good. I still like it a lot, but the first 10 minutes make you real sad. You're gonna love somebody and they're gonna die one day.
Baby back bitch.
Well, that about does it.
That about does it. Next week, Hereditary? Question mark?
Hereditary.
We should probably watch it.
Well, we did have a singular fan, pop
The
up
fans want, the fans get,
and
baby.
request that we do Hereditary. They really want to hear us talk
Well, we
about
should do
it. so-
something, and I feel like people are really liking that movie. So,
I feel like it's going to go the way to The Quiet Place. We watch the big horror movie that
perfectly good movie.
everyone's freaking out about,
It was good.
and it's perfectly fine, but there's just not much
that's
to.
fine. It was good, and you know it.
Anyway,
Maybe Hereditary next week. Maybe another blind date. You never know, baby.
you never know. This has been Movie Date with Rob and Zach, a podcast for people who like movies but don't want to be too smug about it.
I have been Rob.
I've been Zach, and our special guest.
Da Vinci Moore, you call me Chops.
Yeah. You can follow us on Podbean app and podbean.com and SoundCloud. And we got our artwork back. I know we said that before, but this time we actually got it back. And YouTube channel should be following shortly, so you can watch these on YouTube.
It's gonna be dope.
Listen to them on YouTube. Goodbye.
Peace.